This activity is about etching silicon. So silicon, as it comes in its shiny wafer form, it's all shiny but it doesn't do much. So you need to pattern it with various areas. One of the ways you do this is you etch away areas, and you don't etch the whole silicon chip because that would just leave you a new surface of fresh silicon. So you want to etch just in the places you want to etch to make patterns that you see on little microchips. So to do this activity we will need this, which is part of the Etch-O-Matic, stencil system. This is a Durafilm stencil. This stencil has a nylon mesh inside a photo sensitive paper, and you expose it, and the parts which you have masked off you can then wash away, and the white area is where the electrode can make contact, and therefore it etches in just that area. This comes in a mylar bag so that it doesn't get light sensitized when it's not being under the strong UV lamp. This is the strong UV lamp here, and it has a little tray here that we put our sample, and there's a heavy glass so that nothing moves while we're doing it. This is a red light so that we can turn the lights off and still kind of see what we're doing, but we don't sensitize the paper. Then is a timer. We'll need that because we need to measure out pretty precisely 60 seconds. The light should only be on for the right amount of time. Then here we have the developing solution. This washes away the parts of the stencil which have not been exposed to light. Also, to help you wash away, you will need a tray and some sponges. So you pour that in there and then wash, 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 wash. You will need some transparency paper which you can print on. So for example, print on it in just black and white, and your design has to be just black and white. Greys do not come out well at all, and so you will need to have a design which you want to put on, or the students will design one that they want to put on. This needs to be the right kind of paper to go into whatever printer you have. If you have an inkjet printer, make sure it's inkjet paper. Otherwise you'll melt in a laser jet, and that would be badness. Then our second step, once we have made a stencil, we need to etch. This is our etching machine, the Etch-O-Matic. It goes into the electricity, and then it uses you can either use AC or DC to etch, and it gives slightly different effects. To etch, you also need the electrolyte, which helps get the current from the metal to the other electrode and take the material with it. And then there's this other attachment that converts from AC to DC in here. You will also need something to etch. In this case we use these dog tags. This has to be conductive. If it's not conductive, it won't etch. So many dog tags are coated, and when they're coated they don't conduct. So you have to test these before you use them. Okay, make sure you have enough stencil film for your entire class. Figure that you need at least a 2" by 2" square per student. It comes in sheets and you have to cut it up yourself to the right size. This activity, actually using the sheet, happens in the dark, so everything should be pre-cut, otherwise it's a little bit logistically difficult. After you've cut your stencil film, it has to go back into the bag until you are ready to use it again under safe light conditions. The students will not get the stencil film until you are in dark room conditions.